We now know that the man who killed 26 people in a tiny Texas church on Sunday had been court-martialed and discharged from the Air Force for assaulting his wife and child. And authorities say that Devin Patrick Kelly sent threatening text messages to his mother-in-law, who was a parishioner at the First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs, Texas. That fact makes the Texas killer sadly typical. More than half of the mass shootings in the United States are related somehow to domestic violence.
One in 6 killers have a history of domestic violence. To put these numbers into more relatable terms, 54% of mass shooters have also shot at a family member. Domestic violence and wider scale violence are more anecdotal than anything.
Domestic violence involves using a pattern of trying to control someone else. And so it usually starts out with minimal things like dirty looks, raising voices, slamming your hand on tables, walking out of the room. There's lots of things that are not actually physical. As a matter of fact, most of domestic violence does not involve physical contact. People engage in physical contact and then escalate that into serious harming behavior. So understanding domestic violence is really a matter of getting a clear picture of if somebody's in a relationship and they feel like they don't have any say-so, and every time they want to share their opinion, they're not allowed to for some reason, or they feel fearful or anxious about being included in the conversation, that's a real warning sign right there. The gun violence is, I think, very similar. I think there's a lot to be said for having easy access to guns. Sometimes kids accidentally do things because they're so accessible. So how you manage who has guns and how freely people have access to them is important.
Remember, we decrease the chances of gun violence and homicide by 500% if we eliminate the presence of guns.
About what would be preventative is learning how valuable relationships and people are, and learning how to resolve conflicts without harming someone would be a real important thing.
The power of a hand is so significant. It can do good or evoke injustice.